So I've never really done a review before, but if you like it, click the like button. By clicking the like button, you will hit me in the face. So totally do that. And yeah, watch the end card. It's great. So Staxel is a game where you go to an island with a very small town, and you can barely call it a town, where your sole goal is to raise a farm from this dilapidated state into a large, prosperous farm. Although that's not exactly what you have to do. You're free to do whatever you wish, of course, which is one of the main things about this game. You have so much freedom. Now, in this game, it's very similar to things like Animal Crossing, where you can just go out and meet the villagers and talk to them and get to know them and their characteristics and what they like. And these people will even give you quests on occasion. They're not like really advanced quests. You're not playing this game to go out and slay wildebeests and monsters and dragons. You go and find what they're asking for. So they may say to you, hey, we need cooking, for example. We need a cake. So you would actually go and make the cake. But it's not like you don't just get the basic ingredients and poof, the cake is made. You actually need all of the utensils. So, for example, if you wanted to fry an egg, you would actually have to have the correct tools to do it, and you would put the egg on you'd fry the egg, and then it would actually be a fried egg, and you can use that to make more things then, or just use the egg in general. Or you can sell those ingredients or the item that the quest has asked for. Or the quest might be like, hey, go to the other side of town, deliver this message, and you get rewarded with items and some money for doing this. So it's fairly interesting. And there's also quests as well where you're tasked with building somebody's house, which is my paltry attempt is not to be admired. A person will come to town, or at least you'll be told a person's coming to town. And your objective is to build them a house, and you have a set of prerequisites to go through, such as like a bed, certain number of lamps, etc., etc. And you have to place all of these in the house. It doesn't matter how you place them, just as long as the house has these items. And more people will gradually move to your town. So I can only imagine later in the game you will have a massive blooming society of people, and that's kind of cool, I think. There's also like shops around the place that you can interact with. There's 2 shops right now and a tavern, and the one offers like mostly gardening materials and food for your pets and food for your animals, all farm related stuff, and then the other one's a building block place. And what's interesting about these shops is that you go there and you may want to buy, let's say, like, I don't know, dog food or something. They cost 100 gold a time, and you do need to use these to buy things. But you can actually kind of cheat the system, which is kind of interesting. You can go there at night as it's closed down, actually steal from the cash register and get like an extra 100, 200, gold money. And you're like, whoa, that's great, you can steal. So why should I even bother working? And what I actually learned later in was that if you steal, they actually raise the shop prices, apparently. The mayor guy was telling me, and I was like, oh, you mean they actually you mean I actually lose more money? But it was kind of cool to see them do that. As for like your actual farm work itself, you have a wide range of tools to go from. You have to like hoe the actual ground, you have to water stuff, you have to dig, you have to like cut down trees, and you need all the proper tools to do this. You need a scythe to cut down long grass or weeds. There's so many tools that you need to work with. The same as if you wanted to milk a cow, you actually have to have the proper device to do that. And so much more, man. But when it goes to like the farm, if you actually don't water your crops, they will die out, which is kind of interesting, because you need to grow crops to sell. Now, if you're like me, I was like, onions are fairly cheap. They were like 10 gold a piece, and I just littered my farm with them. because they were cheap and they were easy to grow. But what I didn't understand was is that if you sell so much of one item, like if you sell a few hundred onions, they'll actually start to give you less and less money because you've given the market so much of one item that it is so much there's no demand for it anymore. So you need to like space out what you're growing. You need to be strategic and think about what kind of plants, what kind of food you're trying to grow. And this can go from simple things like onions to eggplants to trees that grow bananas to cucumbers. You can grow a wide variety of things. There's like 70 plus like things to grow, and that's not including like things you can use as ingredients to make cakes and soups and stuff, which I haven't even really gotten into all that much. Another thing that I really enjoyed about it was the fact that you can actually buy this thing called the catalog from the store, where if you put it down in your house or anywhere, it doesn't really matter, you can actually order items. So for example, if I actually needed, let's say, a particular item to finish somebody's house, let's say a chair, they wanted a very particular type of chair, you could order from the catalog in game. I don't really know what the difference between the catalog in game is and the stores, because the catalog in game has absolutely everything. You can actually type in the search engine what you want. So I'm wondering what the difference is. I haven't figured it out yet, but with a catalog you can order items. So you could order water to actually build a pond in your farm to do fishing and stuff like that. A thing that's really interesting about Staxel as well is this season. There's 16 days in a month, as far as I can see, and there's few seasons. There's like spring, summer, autumn, and I think fall, but I know that is winter. I believe I don't know seasons, but there's multiple seasons, and the seasons will influence the types of bugs, probably fish, maybe, that show up, as well as what you can grow. Certain things can only grow during certain periods. So, like, for example, onions. I grew a few onions, and they were doing okay. And then it hit summer, and I think I couldn't grow onions anymore. I had to, like, dig all those up, and then there would be another... there'd be something else that I can grow in its place. So you have to pay attention to seasons, and just like Animal Crossing, to the best of my knowledge at least, things change in that game depend on the seasons. And unlike that game though, seasons, in-game time is not run off, like an actual in-game, in real life day. It's like, I think 10 minutes in the game, or 50 minutes equals a day in-game. So you can go through a year fairly quickly. But it's still, after like 10 hours of playing, I'm barely through summer. So you have a pet, and you can choose to start the game. Do you want a cat or a dog? I don't think there's a difference between the two really, but they do have different types of breeds. I had a Dalmatian once, and I think I can't remember. I just had so many types of dogs, so I'll have to try the cats. But if you feed your dog or cat and keep them happy, they'll actually like get items for you, which you can use then to benefit the farm. They may bring you like something stupid, but then they also may bring you something like a golden item. And the golden items, like, I had like this golden seed, and I put it in the ground, and it was growing a golden cabbage, which sold for like major bucks. And you can also play all sorts of mini games with your pets, such as throwing balls about and all other sorts of stuff, which you just, they didn't have to do, but you can do. The fishing mini game in Staxel is fairly basic. You just throw your you throw your stuff into the water. You wait between 1 to 4. 1 to 4 on the keyboard. You push those to catch your fish. That's fairly easy. I think you can cook those too and sell them. Not so sure, but you can definitely fish and sell those. And there's bug catching as well. If you have a bug catch, now you just go out and just find bugs. And what's interesting about that is, if you find a bee, you can actually find a queen bee, and you can actually eventually produce honey using these two, which is really interesting. I haven't sold honey yet because the bees on my game have been very temperamental, but you can definitely do that. I think the worst part about Staxel personally is it is really focused as a multiplayer based game. So it doesn't mean you can't play in single player, but to actually get the full experience, you need to play multiplayer, I'd say. And I haven't touched multiplayer yet because my friends, the game, as I'm reviewing this, the game isn't actually officially released. I've had a key to play it, but I'd assume that the actual game is better enjoyed with friends, simply because there's so many things about the game, with like, you know, helping with the farm, building the houses together. They all take so long, and I've barely done anything in my 8 hours of playing. The biggest problem I have, and I assume this carries over to the multiplayer, is at certain times when I'm walking, the map ahead of me is loading. I can see literal flowers appearing, and sometimes I can actually see the map rendering, and it's not like, it's not far away, it's really close. Sometimes I've actually seen the map load like 3 feet in front of me, which is kind of annoying. But other than that, if you like a simulator where you just sit down and you just enjoy yourself and you just relax, Staxel is the perfect game for you.